Abandoned in a Burger King, a baby's journey to find her birth mother 27 years after a desperate goodbye. It was a typical day at the Burger King in Allentown, Pennsylvania, until a fast food worker stumbled upon a shocking discovery in the restroom. The unmistakable wails of a newborn baby pierced the air, leaving the employee stunned. Rushing into the bathroom, he found a tiny 3-hour-old infant swaddled in a sweater and abandoned. Emergency services were quickly summoned, and paramedics arrived to find the little girl in surprisingly good health. As she was whisked away to safety, a desperate search for her mother began. But as the hours ticked by, it became clear that the baby's mom was nowhere to be found. A child development officer somberly noted, "At this point, we're the only family this child has." The worker who discovered the baby later recounted his experience to TV crews, reenacting the moment he found the infant in the restroom. "I heard a kid crying in the bathroom, so I went in," he said, still shaken. "You don't expect to find something like that. I'm still trying to process it all." Meanwhile, the pair of paramedics who took the baby into the hospital were also captivated by her. One ambulance officer said, "She is a beautiful baby, she really is." Her colleagues summed up the all-too-tragic backdrop to her start in life, adding, "The only sure thing was the baby was alive when we were en route. I'm sure whoever gave her up is having a hard time right now." All this happened more than 30 years ago, back on September 15, 1986. The child gained nationwide fame as the Burger King baby. Cops interviewed locals, checked the surroundings for fingerprints, and searched the local area, but they never did find her mom. While hopes of reuniting the baby girl with her biological mom faded, the baby was adopted by a local couple, Brenda and Carl Hollis. They cherished her and brought her up as their own daughter. However, Brenda knew that little Catherine, as she was named, would one day need to find her real mom, and she was determined not to stand in the way. So, in 1998, when Catherine was 12, her adoptive parents finally broke the news to her about her real mom. They showed her a scrapbook of pictures and newspaper articles that they had collected over time. The clippings detailed the story of Catherine's discovery. From that moment on, as they knew, Catherine felt the need to find her real mom. As she subsequently explained on the Today Show, "You just wonder where you come from. I would never want to replace my adoptive family, but being adopted, a part of you is missing, and unless you've been adopted, you really just don't understand that." As she outgrew her teens, going on to start a career in medicine as a technician, marry, and have 3 kids herself, the nagging desire to find her mom never left Catherine. So finally, in 2014, at the age of 27, she gave in to it. In fact, she sought the help of the world's greatest detective since Sherlock Holmes. The media, armed with a picture of herself and her history written in felt pen on 2 sheets of paper, she took to Facebook. Her message began, "Looking for my birth mother," and it ended, "Maybe she will see this. Thank you." And after a staggering 30,000 Facebook shares around the world, Mom eventually did see it. In fact, it took just 2 weeks before Kathy Pochek got in touch with the daughter she had left in desperation 27 years earlier. And her own backstory turned out to have been every bit as traumatic as the prospective paramedic had guessed. Kathy was really just a child herself when, age 16, she was raped while traveling in another country with her family. Filled with shame, she had her baby girl in the bathroom before smuggling her to the nearby Burger King and abandoning her. By her late 20s, Catherine was mature enough to understand the depression behind her mom's teenage actions. Indeed, she told a Today Show, "She left me somewhere she knew I'd be found. She did not want to throw me away." Finally, in a tear-filled reunion on the Today Show, Catherine met the mom she never knew, and she instantly found that the foundling baby with no kin now had 2 families to turn to. In a TV studio with her adoptive mom, Brenda, on one side, and real mom Kathy in the middle, her life was completed, and the amazing coincidences that somehow hid the pair from each other for all these years were revealed. Perhaps the most bizarre was that Kathy was the babysitter for the man who eventually became Catherine's husband, so she had known her son-in-law for considerably longer than her daughter had. Aside from that, the pair ended up with similar names, Catherine Ann, the name of her biological mother, and Catherine Ann, the name given to her by her unknowing adoptive parents. Furthermore, it was revealed that they both drive the identical make and color of car, and both work as emergency medical technicians. So, did Catherine's quest end happily ever after? Catherine was emphatic. I got the hug that I wanted for the last 27 years, and that broke the ice. She said, I asked if I could have it, and she said absolutely, and just held her arms open. And the rest is history. It looked like I was looking in a mirror. As Catherine and her biological mother, Kathy, sat down together for the first time, they spent 4 hours sharing stories and getting to know each other. The connection was instant, and Catherine beamed with excitement, saying, We're definitely going to have a relationship. Kathy, visibly emotional, replied, I'm so glad you came looking for me. And with that, a beautiful new bond was formed. The two have continued to meet and strengthen their relationship ever since. Catherine's adoptive mother, Brenda, couldn't be happier for her daughter. When asked about the reunion, she smiled warmly and said Catherine had been searching for her biological mother for a long time. We never thought it would actually happen, but we're thrilled that it did. Brenda's selfless love and support for Catherine's journey only added to the joy of the reunion.